Welcome everyone to episode 8 of the Couch Potatoes and Sports Tragics podcast.
We are racking them up.
We're racking them up. That was Jordan in the background there. Still yet to find a moniker for him. But I'm the Sportzologist, and we're just two armchair critics who like to have a little bit of a banter about sport. And something that's trending at the moment is they've just announced the Australian T20 World Cup squad, and there's a couple of selections there, or what I feel are dramatic. A bit of a non-inclusion and inclusions,
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely some controversy surrounding it. Obviously, Smith's out for the first time in 10 years. That's, it's a change.
I think
he hasn't been travelling too well, so...
Well, I think that's warranted.
Yeah. I think it's more a statement that they're not sticking with the old guns and they are prepared to bring some people in and out and take a risk. But having said that, as you know, like, God, who have they...
Well,
they
left out. They left out the biggest name of all, Jake Fraser-Mcgurk, who's been playing for the Delhi Capitals, in the IPL and been killing them. I think he scored 259 runs at a strike rate of 233.33. But that's 2.33 runs every ball that he faces. Yeah. And he's facing some of the best bowlers in the world over there.
I think that's equivalent of my entire average.
Well, it was my average last time I played third grade back in Coffs Harbour, 2.33.
Yeah, well, mate, if it's like that, I have to forget about that.
It'd be handy.
Shouldn't have made that comeback.
No, I shouldn't have. But yeah, so Jake Fraser-Mcgurk, I really feel they should have taken a chance with him. The guy's in form. To me, it's a little bit like back in the 70s there when they sort of sat back for a while on David Hooks. He'd scored, I think, 5 centuries for South Australia in the Sheffield Shield in 6 innings. Yeah. And they were holding back on him, and he just sheer weight of runs. He eventually got into the centenary test, and that was his test debut. And didn't really go on in the long run. I think he was one of those players who didn't reach his full potential, but he certainly was a great player, but he warranted selection. And I really feel Jake Fraser-Mcgurk definitely warranted selection on IPL alone.
Do you reckon there's any politics at play, or just?
Can't say. I think they're doing Davey Warner giving him a bit of a farewell. He's been dropped from his IPL side. He's been dropped. So how can you warrant that someone's been dropped from the IPL side and he keeps his place over someone who's on fire?
Yeah, well, given some of the changes they've made, I'm actually a bit surprised that they obviously didn't go complete brush through it. And
definitely not. And
Warner's there, I guess, maybe as much as a rock for the younger players. Maybe that's how they viewed it.
Well,
that's
yeah,
all I got for that one.
Well, I suppose they're thinking that Jake Fraser-Mcgurk's going to get his chance after Warner goes. He's going to be a shoo-in, really. The other guy to miss out in the batting lineup was Matt Short, and he's been great. And he can bowl. He can bowl a little bit of off spin, but he's been in fantastic form in BBL and the few games that he's played for Australian T20. He's done really well opening the batting.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Well, they've got all sorts of names. I see you got Wadey here as well as Inglis.
Well, yeah.
I mean, Wadey's obviously, just the bat alone is he holds his form, originally a keeper.
Yeah, well, I think Wade definitely is lucky to be there. We probably could have taken the risk and not taken 2 keepers because we've got Inglis as the main keeper. I believe they'll play Inglis ahead of Wade. And, they could have probably then risked taking Jake Fraser-Mcgurk or even Short or someone,
There are a couple of solid ones here. Obviously, Mitch Marsh got the hat.
Well, I think that's warranted. He's in tremendous form the last 18 months, in all formats for sure.
And that's great to see because both the Marshies, they had a bit of an up and down. They have had an up and down sort of go at it, haven't they? In, out. So that's good testament to him. I'm glad to see that he got that. Yeah.
Well, he's finally realised the potential that he had from a very young age, like he was an Australian under-19 rep and just didn't quite get to the next level. And, he's definitely one of my favourite players, for sure. I love the way he bats. I love it. Batting at number 5 or 6 there for Australia. He comes in, him and Travis Head, definitely take the game by the horns and, give it to tired attacks. They certainly do.
They'll throw Heady into open, won't they?
Heady's been killing them over there in IPL. He's had a couple. He's scored a century and an 84, I think, all off like 50-something balls, 57 balls.
He finally got over his hangover, mate.
Yeah, it took him a while.
Cup.
Took him a while. Some good photos from that one there.
Yeah. Well deserved, mate. That is that was absolutely brilliant.
But just getting back to Jake Fraser-Mcgurk there, while you just jogged my memory on that. He scored 2 50s in the IPL and an 84 and a 60-something, I think. And both times he's brought his 50 up off 15 balls.
God, that's just insane, isn't it?
It is. Well, we're going to have to do it. We are going to be doing an episode down the track about scoring rates and how they have evolved over the years. But some of these guys, I've been watching some of these IPL games. There was one last night early on for the first, I don't know how many, 9, 10 overs. A side was going at nearly 16. And I saw a run chase the other night. They chased down 13 runs and over over the last 10 or 12 overs and won the game.
Gosh.
It's incredible. So, I mean, this is what this World Cup is going to be held in early June next year in the Caribbean or the Caribbean, whichever way you like to say it, and the USA. So it's going to be a big boost to cricket over in America because they've got their Major League Cricket tournament happening. A few Aussies have played in that. So that's going to be it's a little bit like, I suppose, the Las Vegas insertion by NRL to try and get into a little bit of the market over there. But cricket is taking off in the United States. So, yeah.
It's interesting because obviously baseball was the main one. Cricket never really took off. I'm assuming that's because they broke away from the colonies. And, with the British influence, they wanted nothing to do with it.
Could have had something to do with it, but I mean, baseball is always going to remain their number one sport for sure. And, nothing's going to change there.
It's actually a tough game, baseball. You had a crack at, when someone's pegging a baseball at you, trying to hit it with that bloody little, what I call a little bit of wood. There's a lot of talent to be able to nail that. Yeah,
well, they're only 18 metres away. I think it's 18.22 metres away, and they're throwing a ball at 100 kilometres an hour. Yeah. 100 miles an hour, sorry.
Yeah, and it swings and, anyway.
Swings and dips and, I mean, as I've said before, I love the stats in baseball and, incredible. But, look, we've got our all-rounders in there, Cameron Green, Marcus Stoinis. I think Stoinis is a little bit he has come good in the last couple of IPL games, but he's just, he's never realised his full potential. Ashton Agar is one of the spinners.
Yeah.
I do like Ashton Agar.
Yeah. Watch him in the Big Bash. He's
great.
Always good fun.
Well, he is a really good bowler. He who can field and bat really well. I always forget that his test debut when he scored that 98, batting at number 11. That is still the world record for a number 11 batsman. But
so close.
And I'm sure he still has nightmares about that shot that he played. He could have put it anywhere.
I was going to ask, was it the guy at the other end who did him in? Or
no, he belted one off. I can't remember who it was. I think what's his name? One of the English bowlers caught him out Stuart Broad caught him out at deep mid-wicket, but he could have put it anywhere. He was only 2 runs short of on debut batting at number 11. So he's a pretty handy batter and he can really contain batsman with the angles that he does. He sort of comes really wide of the crease with his left arm spin and really drives it in, like on their toes and at the stumps.
Yep.
And, and of course you've got, Adam Zampa, a local guy here from here in Bangalow.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got a property up at Bangalow. He's a great bowler. I love him. I really do think that he deserves to earn a baggy green.
Yeah.
I think especially if we go over to the subcontinent, I think Adam Zampa can, because he bowls so accurately at the stumps. You've just got to be that type of bowler who bowls at the stumps over in India and Pakistan, and just let the pitch do the work. Just keep bowling at the stumps.
Well, he's got to be close. Obviously, Lyons has got the mantle there, but he's got to be close.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, in the T20 World Cup, he is a vital cog in our bowling attack,
and
for sure.
To be a spinner, especially when everyone's just going for the hack, mate, you got to have nerves of steel. And he's only a young guy too, and to hold up against the best batters in the world and do what he's doing, it's a good effort.
Well, for any spinner, look, when T20 came along, everyone thought it was going to be the death of spinners. Because in the old days...
far from it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but everyone thought it was going to be the death. But you look at the top 10 best bowlers in the world rankings, probably 8 or 7 or 8 of those will be spinners.
Yeah. Well, obviously Warney, Muralitharan.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying in the T20 rankings.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, when you look at the T20 World Rankings, you've got 7 or 8 spinners in there, because the spinners, that little bit of variation that they get, either in pace, spin, side spin, one way, left, right. Batsmen have to make all the power against the spinners, where off the quicks, the ball flies off the bat with these new bats they've got. These absolute belters of bats that they have. The ball just flies off them, and but against spinners, you've got to make all the power. You've got to all that energy.
Got to pick them, and you got to keep a breather down your neck. But I also think that when you think about it, most of the best batters as they've grown up have been against the quicks. They've been the openers as they've been growing up through probably juniors and that kind of thing. So they've probably haven't been exposed to the spin either.
True.
So that there's obviously a double whammy. Not as experienced, breaks up the rhythm.
Yeah. Well, exposed to quality spinners. Yeah. And, all those spinners, from all around the world, from the subcontinent, they are. And there's so many different types of spinners now. But in the old days, it was a leg spinner or an off spinner. Now you've got spinners who, bowl cannonballs or carrom balls, whatever they're called, and spin it different ways. A lot of them are like mystery spinners, like the old Johnny Gleason back in the 70s, and you don't know which way it's going.
As I said, come in spinner, mate. We could have a spinners special on Anzac Day. There you go.
Good idea. We'll have to do that for next year now. We've missed the boat this one. Yeah. And, of course, they've got the same old cartel, Hazelwood, Stark, Cummins.
Well, Cummins obviously is... I know I've said this a few podcasts ago, but how he came through it when everyone sort of wanted Steve Smith to be there, and why you're appointing Cummins, and who the hell was this, and he's a bowler, and, anyone who knows half about cricket knows what he went through to do it, and to come up as he has. So I've got nothing but absolute admiration for that guy.
Well, I've watched a few IPL games early in the mornings, and I think he plays with Rajasthan Royals. He's captain, and he is a sensational captain in T20 and a great bowler. I saw him bowl one over there at the end, and slow balls into the pitch, and the batsman just looked like he was a 9-year-old facing it was incredible. He's got so much armour, that he can use with slow balls at different. And
Hazelwood's been solid. What about Stark? What's your thoughts on that one?
Stark he's been struggling IPL, and it wasn't until the last game about 2 nights ago he actually took 4 for 30 something.
Yeah, right.
But he has been really struggling. Yeah, and he's been belted. Actually,
I know we talk about a couple of the question marks that could have made room for others, and. Yeah, that was one that sort of stuck out for me a little bit. Once again, I get the idea of not transitioning too much, and they're probably looking at let's put a few in and keep the nucleus. But yeah, I think if you're good enough, should be good enough.
Well, they've got Nathan Ellis in.
Doesn't matter if you've been in there before or not. And I think that's one of the things with cricket. You can have a really bad run, and I'll stick with you. It's one of the more unusual sports that does that. You're playing footy. I guess they give you a bit of time.
As I said, they've got Nathan Ellis in the side, and I love him. He's great. He's got so many variations at the very end, and he's a ball of energy. Nathan Ellis, great change-ups, and
Tell me about Tim David.
Tim David's great. I like Tim David. He's a big guy, and he comes in. I think they've got him batting a little bit low. I think he plays with, I could be wrong, Mumbai Indians over in the IPL, and they've got him batting in, honestly, nearly 7, 8 or 9.
Yeah, right.
But he's a real hitter. He's a real finisher.
Yeah.
And he can really he can belt them over the boundaries big time. He does a little bit of off-spin bowling like most of the players have to do.
Yep.
And, but he's a real weapon. I sometimes would like to see him a little bit higher up the order so he could maybe get a few more balls under his belt. He's the kind of guy who gets 16 off 11 or 22 off 15.
Just those extra few runs that you sort of need.
Yeah.
And he's got nothing to lose, so to speak.
Absolutely. He takes the bulls by the horns too. He really does give it a belt. And, I mean, the other guy who does that is the other great finisher is Glenn Maxwell. He's in the side.
Yep.
He has struggled. I think overnight he only got 3 runs. runs.
He is up and down, through his whole, he'll have some big hits and then, yeah.
It's a bit like Dougie Walters, isn't it, back in the day? You know that there's only one big innings coming around the corner and it's going to be a gem.
Yeah, it's sort of all or nothing, isn't it, with him? And he's either going to go early or he's...
Pretty much.
Yeah, he's going to win the game for you.
That 201 not out in that game against Sri Lanka in the World Cup.
Oh, my goodness.
That was just the most incredible. That was a boys-only annual story. That scenario when they needed like 160-something with, I think, 7 or 8 wickets down, 7 wickets down, I think it was.
We were sunk.
We were gone. And we needed like 6, we needed 8 or 10 runs and over. And Pat Cummins played the perfect foil, and
yes, he did.
Maxwell just on no legs. He was cramped up, and went into like a fit there at one stage on the ground. I think the umpire didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And just hit. I don't know. It was the greatest one-day innings I've ever seen. It's got to go down in history as probably the greatest one.
I think there was a bit of fun after the game when they interviewed Cummins and that, didn't they? Didn't Cummins claim the accolade as the
Yeah, I think he did.
It was his role that won him the game. But that's not as far fetched as it sounst. But
absolutely,
it was definitely tongue in cheek because obviously what Maxwell did was just
definitely tongue in cheek because I think. He scored the worst strike rate by a batsman in a T20 game, batting at number 9 or something like that it was. He faced an incredible amount of balls for not very many runs, but he held up the end for Maxwell to attack at the other one, so incredible.
I've read before, and Cameron Green, I think, put him in, and obviously he is, but they're saying he hasn't had a game in 18 months or something. Yeah,
well, he did play overnight, and he only got 3 runs. He just hit a ball off the middle of the bat straight down to third man. Pretty unlucky way to get out off a quick when you've got no time to think.
Yeah.
And he's another one. He's like a little bit in the early Mitch Marsh type scenario where, we know he's got plenty of potential.
Yeah.
When's he going to really fire?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I mean, he's got a big name. His name's always bantered around the place. And
but he's going to look.
But you got to think when you look at the practicalities, once again, as you do with the stats and everything, has he proved himself to be there for someone else?
Yeah, I think you've got to have him in the side. He bowls at 140 clicks when he bowls.
And
hits,
obviously.
and he with the ball, he bowls with a heavy ball. It hits the bat hard, and he's 6'4" or 5. He's a big boy, and look, I really think that he's going to be one of our all-time greats in nearly all formats, but especially even Test cricket. I really think that I see a lot of Jacques Kallis in Cameron Green, the way he bats and plays cricket. Okay. It'll take a while.
That's a big accolade.
It is a big accolade. Yeah. Like probably the second best all-rounder in Test history. I've got to give the number 1 spot to Cigarfield Sabres.
Yeah,
and without doubt. But look, a real Jacques Kallis lookalike in his technique and that, and he's just got to find that happy medium between again. When do I launch and etc. So yeah.
Well, also like Cameron Green, mate, when you think about it, he's with that all rounder and how it's been going, I think well let's see. But also, mate, we've heard it here from you. Here we go. We might be we'll be playing this back in 10 years, mate, and heard it here first. There you go.
Yeah, all-time great. But look, that's a bit of a rundown on the whole side. I think we pretty well mentioned everyone. When Josh Inglis, I think he picks himself at the moment as wicketkeeper batsman, innovative batsman and more than capable keeper.
Yeah.
As I said, Matthew Wade's probably lucky to be there. David Warner's probably lucky to be there. But look, I don't know what the draw is yet. We will probably do a podcast as it gets close.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
We'll do quite a few podcasts during the World Cup itself.
Exactly. We should be sitting there being the armchair critics watching it while we're...
That's good. Armchair critics. I like that.
Thanks.
We might have to write a song about that.
Just flying off the tongue, mate. Flying off the tongue. Yeah?
We might have to write a song about that. That could be coming up in coming weeks. But anyway, that's Jordan and the Sportzologist. I keep stuffing that up. I don't know. Jordan and the Sportzologist.
With a Z.
Yeah, with a Z.
There you go.
You can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, down the local pub.
And obviously wherever you're listening. we just duck off to do a podcast, mate.
Yep. And we will look...
come in the schooner time.
If you are listening, we hope to be doing a podcast from a venue in Ballina soon, maybe in a couple of episodes' time.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
We'll see, and we'll let you know about that in the coming weeks. But I think we'll sign off on the T20 World Cup squad. As we said, a few surprises. Commiserations, Jake Fraser-Mcgurk. I think he might be playing tonight or tomorrow night in the IPL. I'll keep my eyes on that. He's great to watch. I love watching him. It's a little bit like watching Virender Sehwag. I used to watch the Indian Test matches, and whenever Virender Sehwag opened, I go, oh, great. And as soon as he got out, I turned it off. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because the rest was boring.
Yeah, look, I think that with the whole team, this will be interesting to actually listen back on this and see, how the predictions go and, what unfolds when it's actually all on.
Well, mate, Nostradamus as we could be.
It could be. Well, mate, it's etched in history now.
But that's it for episode 8. Again, if you have been listening, thanks for listening. Yeah. And
if you haven't, you wouldn't know.
That's right. That's going to have to be our little byline, I think, at the end, for sure. So till next time, it's cheers from me, the Sportzologist, and Jordan.
Jordan, whatever. Talk to you soon.